623, it's Alabama's Morning News. I'm JT. Joining us now, political consultant Albert Eisenberg on the new nomination from President Biden to be the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Bridget Brink. Good morning. Welcome in, Albert. Thanks for being with me.
Good morning, JT. I like the Burnin' For You intro.
Yeah, come on. I mean, David's got some good musical selections. He's always pulling out some nice ditties there for us. I wanted to ask you, before we get into the discussion on the new nominee, Bridget Brink, and it looks like she's pretty qualified here. Let's talk about the previous ambassador. Was that Marie Yovanovitch, or had she been removed and there was an acting ambassador to Ukraine?
Yeah, so there was a Trump scuffle that you may or may not have heard of in Ukraine before Putin invaded, and the acting ambassador got caught up in it and sort of made her brave, quote-unquote, statements before being forced out. The former ambassador, Yovanovitch, had gotten caught up in it before stepping out of the role. And we always have an acting ambassador or a State Department high-level ranking, perhaps civilian or foreign policy official who can act in that role, but not necessarily be confirmed by the U.S. Senate as the ambassador. So
okay, so we've had an acting since that whole scuffle you speak about.
Yes, but nobody in the official role.
Okay, so what was the scuffle all about in a nutshell with Yovanovitch and the Trump era?
Well, the Trump era was that Trump, in my view, wanted to have dirt dug up on Joe Biden, who he viewed as an electoral threat, and Biden's business dealings, particularly vis-a-vis his son on the Burisma board, getting a sinecure worth tens of thousands a month for his business accomplishments, ostensibly. And he had pressured Zelensky, the new incoming Ukrainian prime minister, to sort of help release dirt on Biden. And it was revealed through leaked audio, and there was military and civilian officials, both Vindman, who you may remember, and Yovanovitch were caught up in this, and basically the entire U.S. political system was as well.
All right. Well, in your opinion, I mean, let's just call it, this Biden investigation is not being covered by anybody except Fox News. Do you believe that Hunter Biden is dirty as the day is long?
Oh, I think the Biden family has been part of a long American heritage of bilking their influence and using their office for personal gain. And I mean, that much is clear. And if Hunter Biden, if any of the Trump kids had done anything close to what Hunter Biden had done, it would be, on billboards in Times Square.
Sure.
So obviously there are
problems.
That does not mean, by the way, that Trump was appropriate to, pressure an incoming prime minister to release political dirt on his domestic political opponent. So I don't really think anybody came off this situation looking great, certainly not the Biden.
Will Hunter Biden ultimately be held accountable, maybe even be put in handcuffs, do you think? Or will this, once again, like all the Democrats that are never held accountable for anything, i.e. the Clintons, will this be one of those situations?
Well, let's go on the assumption that the red wave is coming, which I think it is. I think the, opinion polls have regularly understated Republican performance, including in 2020, where Democrats were supposed to have a wave and instead they lost House seats. So I think Democrats, as far as domestic politics, I think Democrats are headed for a major loss of all of their several Senate seats and probably 30 to 50 House seats. So Republicans are going to have a big majority, I think, come November, and they are going to be angry, restive, ready to solve some problems, and probably taking the lead from people like Governor DeSantis in Florida, who's actually gone on the offense. So I think you can bet on Republicans going on the offense on these types of issues and scoring some wins.
What about this scenario? I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about this. Republicans grab the Senate, the House, then they impeach Biden, impeach Kamala Harris, and the Speaker, Republican, then becomes president.
It seems like a reach. I don't think most independent voters, moderate Republicans, conservative Democrats are going to be in favor of electoral maneuverings like that, as desperate as the situation is going to be economically for most people for better leadership.
Yeah.
I think the end of the day, Biden's going to serve his 4-year term. I'm not sure he's going to serve it out. And what we need to focus on as conservatives is building an American majority that is broader than just the Republican base and winning not just with 48% of the popular vote in 2024, but winning with a resounding victory and putting up somebody who can represent a broader coalition, bring in working class Hispanic people, retain working class white voters, make inroads in Black and Asian communities, and win a resounding victory to put the woke Democrats in their corner for the next cycle.
Amen.
I would not be investing in machinations to try and, get the next speaker to be president.
No, we were just talking, about it. But, it's not likely. It's a long putt. I understand that. But you're saying there's a chance. Okay. Anyway, let's move on.
Imagine such things.
Quickly, though, your thoughts on the new nominee, as it looks like Bridget Brink has got a pretty good track record.
Yeah, she's an expert in Europe and Eurasia. She's a State Department alumni from the 90s. And you know as well as I do that a lot of the time these ambassadors are total hacks and campaign donors. So, and she's a Trump appointee, has been serving as ambassador to Slovakia since 2019 when she was confirmed by the Senate. So that actually shows a surprising level of bipartisanship. So maybe the Biden administration is rising to the occasion here. And I think we're putting in the right person, hopefully, as far as what's been reported, to represent America's interests, to hopefully pressure the international community to support Ukraine without, beating the drums of war,
right,
which is something we have to do. We have to find a middle path. And what's going to be really important here, there's a few lingering questions of, what Russia's going to do now that it's controlling this swath of the country from Donbass to Crimea. Have they, quote unquote, liberated and denazified enough that Putin can save face, or is this going to be an all-out war for the next few years? And then what's Germany going to do? Because Germany has people that are in cozy positions in the ruling coalition that are more beholden to Russia than they are German political interests,
right,
and they're paying millions of euros a day to Russia, no matter what America does. So there's a lot of diplomacy to be done in Western Europe and in Ukraine. And this seems like a positive step.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. This is not anything that's going to be wrapping up anytime soon with Russia and Ukraine. Albert Eisenberg, thank you so much for being here. Great input this morning. I appreciate you. It's 6:30 now. Alabama's Morning News.